trying something. I'm seeing if this restream works. And then I'm going to do a screen share right now. What song is this called again, Sue?
This is I Am Wishes Fulfilled, the Wayne Dyer song.
Oh, that's right. Okay, cool. Let me see. Oh, it's going live. Okay, so I was just testing to see if this works, but I think I just heard Facebook go off. Am I live on Facebook? Nobody share any deep dark secrets right now because I think I just went live. I was just testing it out, but I will stop the live stream. But well, here, let me just draw this chart really quick. Okay, so this is what I was seeing. How I saw some people going into the future and I saw some people going into the past to pick up the fragments of self. I was seeing like that's what I saw. So I saw this like a sphere here and a sphere over here. And then there was it's like this is now. And this is the past or the future. They said it doesn't matter because time doesn't really exist. It just exists within us, like the memories and things like that. So all the things that are going to happen to us and all the things that have already happened based on the timeline that we're living in, it doesn't matter. It's past or future. It's already happened. So we can actually heal the future by doing the exercise that we just did, where we pulled ourselves into basically pulled ourselves into our presence. So like the presence, let's call it gold light. Okay, so here's our presence. Oh, it totally blocks that out. Okay, I didn't want it to black it out, but hold on, let me see. Delete that. One. Go away. Okay. There we go. Okay, yeah. So that's like our presence, like the Christ consciousness would be like a ball of light above that. A ball of like, no, it's not light, it's energy. No, it's like a plasmic ball of something, like right there. And then it emits down like light. And then that's our now. But what happens is everyone with trauma, they don't want to live in their body. They're like, oh, I don't want to be inside myself. Like I used to be like that too. I mean, up until like a little while ago. We have like these pieces of ourselves that are like, they're showing me it's like it's almost like just like like we have all these little pieces of us that are like hanging out, and some of them are hanging down like in the presence still, but most of them have like fallen out of like the picture. This is like the soul's path. Okay, so no, I'm sorry, our soul's path is over here. Sorry. Okay, our soul's path is right here. Like water. And then the root chakra, like our false reality, like our false creations would be down here. Oops. Hey, I've never been able to. Oh my gosh, it keeps moving this thing. I just want to make a new one. There we go. So there's our false creations are like tiny though. And they're like over here. So that's like the root chakra, like the new agers are all into like the hologram world and manifesting and manifesting and law of attraction, manifesting. It's like, that's like over there is like where like that's where like you're gonna find like genies, mermaids, like all like the fantasy world reality things. Genies are kind of like gods, but they're trapped and they're a slave to someone, and they speak in like limericks. Remember when I used to channel one of Marlowe's guides used to always speak in like limericks, and I realize now it's a genie, because when people treat God like a genie, like oh, I want got 3 wishes, God give me my wishes, but there's no faith or love. It's just kind of like a belief that they owe you it. That's where you end up down here in this reality. Okay, so you're not in Christ or the I am consciousness like presence. You're over in this like reality where you're God. You're like, I'm God and I'm creating my reality, but it's very like almost like narcissistic in nature. And there's a there we go. It's like it's supposed to be a mirror. But then this is also a mirror. This water right here, like the reflection. So imagine like here's you right here, and you're reflecting, you have a reflection of yourself here. So that reflection also believes that it's you, and that's your human. That, but there's like a ton of them. There's all these yous that like you've created and made, and they're all based on, there's like 12 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's 16 of them. Reminds me of like 8 times 2, because there's 8 densities, right? So it's like 16 of ourselves, like here in this water. And those are the pieces of ourselves that we're trying to, in essence, pull back into our presence, because they're like fallen pieces of us. They're reflections of self, like the it's not necessarily the Antichrist self, but it's the Antichrist self would be like way over here, down at the bottom on the left. But that's our Christ self up there. But our human experience is here, right in our soul path. So this is our soul's path. And what happens is we can be on our soul's path, but these little pieces of us that like jump out to abandon ship, they don't make it all the way down there. But some of them do. So some of them are down here living a soul experience and floating down the river. Other ones haven't made it to the water. So they're just like floating out completely ungrounded outside of God's grace, outside of our soul, because the soul right here is in essence pretty much like it's water, but it's like it's like they always say Christ is a living water within. It's like, I don't know, I can't describe this. It's like a body of water. And I feel like that's like what they would call like the Father or whatever. So when Jesus says, oh, I do as the Father says, it's like, oh, I follow this path. I follow this path. But the thing is, a lot of people, when they choose to turn their back on their soul's path and they choose to go with fear, they fall over here into the red down here, or even worse, they fall right out here. And this is where like physical illness and like, things start to happen because you've stepped out of your soul's path. You've chosen fear over faith, and you've chosen to, basically like live life in fear. And so fear is like our biggest, there's nothing bigger to fear than fear itself, I guess. Worry would be like over, let me see. So worry is like right here. It affects our heart. It's a little mirror right there. So that's us looking into that mirror, and where is it? So we're looking into like this mirror, and we're creating like a false reality, right? And in this false reality, we're creating it like in our heart. So if it's negative, we create worry and we create heart issues. If we create so much worry about looking into this like mirror or whatever, the mirror of time, that's the mirror of time they're saying, we just jump out of ourselves. And that's tonight when we did the exercise, we became our whole self, which was this, was like all this right here. We became that. And then we asked the angel of love, which was the spirit of truth, which is like this huge, it looks like almost like it's like a coil that goes throughout this entire thing. And it creates like this like moving energy or whatever, keeps us moving, keeps us moving. And that's like love, in purpose. Whether it's loving a spouse or loving animals or loving a cause or loving whatever, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be like in a soulmate relationship, but like, family or friends or helping animals or whatever it is that you love and feel purpose in, that creates that angel of love comes in and gives like this like centrifugal type force thing that goes through your soul's path and creates like a forward moving motion in it. The key though, they're saying is keeping all of those pieces that have fallen out of us in the now, in the present. Oh, there you are. I hear you because I hear myself. And did you have a question? I hear me talking back.
Anna, you're unmuted. Did you have a question?
Oh. Maybe people just unmute on accident. Let me see. Let me mute all. There we go. Okay. So what's cool is like they're showing like our now, if we're with like a divine partner or like, in like a soulmate situation, and we're in like just like the now, we don't have a past or a future. We just have like the right now. When we go into like fear and stuff like that, fear and worry and things like that, and not knowing what's going to happen, we fall into the past or the future, and it's completely off of our soul's path. The past or the future does not exist. It's just what, like if you look at something from the past, you're going to remember it differently than anyone else that was there too. Like everyone's going to remember it differently, and it's going to be flavored with whatever experiences we've had and things like that, and obviously our own emotions and feelings and our own judgments. And nobody will ever agree on something that happened that was emotionally charged, and no one's ever going to agree that it was the same. Everyone's going to remember different little details that probably didn't even exist or happen, and they kind of get combined with our own experiences that have happened to us before. We kind of just duplicate them and be like, oh yeah, remember when that person threw the chair across the room? It's like, if you were with that person forever, you'd be like, no, that was when you were in high school and you were 16 and that guy's dad came home and threw the chair across the room. It's like, but you remember things that didn't really happen because we're not really good with memory. We're not really good with remembering things when we're emotional. So whenever we fall into the past or the future, so a lot of people did go into the future, and that's because we're our I am presence, and that's our right now, and that's our always, that's our eternal body. That golden pillar thing is like, that's like our eternal self, our eternal body. Now, if we don't go into our Christ body, if we don't like believe that we are eternal, then when we die, we just fall down into like this past future area with the little X's down here. You just kind of fall into there, and then wait until you kind of get swept up back into another existence where, your soul wants you to experience life again. But otherwise, you just kind of float there. You just kind of sit there like in solid motion. You don't have to be a Christian or don't have to be into like Christ, but it's the belief in eternal life. They're actually saying that there's 4 different eternities. There's like an eternity of what we would call like hell, where you're just living the same day over and over and over and over. And then there's the eternity of like heaven, where you're gradually progressing through different like heavenly realms. And this is one of the heavenly realms. This is the 4th heavenly realm, earth. And we're slowly but surely moving through, making our way through, forgetting that we are God, forgetting that we are the one that created this whole reality in the first place, forgetting that we're the ones that thought this up. But it's such like a master plan that we've masked ourselves from remembering, because then it wouldn't be any fun to live a life that we knew everything that was going to happen. The other type of eternity would be the eternal Christ body, and that's in basically like staying forever in kind of like humanness and emotional body. So you want to evolve past becoming like Christ. Like becoming like Christ is a way to become when you're on earth, when you're a human. But when you're not human anymore and you're not like on earth, you want to evolve into your I am. You want to evolve into the all that is that you are, into spirit, because spirit is beyond Christ. So Christ is a consciousness. Spirit is in essence a being of who you are. Like think of Christ as more like a graduated emotional body, completely graduated. It doesn't get phased by anything. It's like it can handle anything. But evolving past that and going into spirit form is the last eternal creation. And that's like the spirit of truth came in tonight and was like, oh yeah, I'm the spirit of truth, love. It's like following a pathway of love back into where you came from. We'll never become what we were before we broke off from whatever we came from, but we'll go back to a much more expanded version of what we came from, because all the little pieces that broke off continued to learn and grow, and all that stuff went back into this ever-growing God. So we choose our eternal path by kind of like what we want to do. Like, do we want to live a life where we're learning how to love and this and that, or do we just want to live a life where we're learning how to forgive and master the human emotional body? I mean, obviously you can get to each different like heavenly realm and then bump up to the next one and then the next one and the next one. But at this point on earth, everybody has a choice on where they want to go and what they want to do. Like if you wanted to be like a Christ eternal body, you would basically learn how to master your emotions. And then when you died, you'd probably come back and be like a guide or something like that for people that were on earth and teach them how to handle their emotions and stuff like that, like Abraham does. Or like Jesus did or whatever. But if you want to like fully merge back with like, your angelic creations and your bliss body and all these different, like, what are they calling it? It's some SAS something. But they're saying that like merging with that is like becoming like the pure essence of love, but you lose your personality. So you just become like pure spirit form. You're not like you anymore. So a lot of people want to remain themselves. So they stick with, remaining themselves, incarnating, creating different realities and worlds. And, but you can't do it if you're all scattered throughout your own existence here, like, that soul path where we've got like a bunch of different us's drowning in the water. We rise up out of fear. So you just say, I am my I am now, and I am in God's presence. Align me with Christ, and then please show me how many pieces of me have fallen into the water. And I just heard like 97,624 and 0.22 for me. That's a lot. Into the water or into my soul's path. They said into the water. And then just ask that all the pieces that can come back get called back to you now. So it's just calling back all pieces, and you use source code 111. And because what that does is it gets rid of the block that we have to the love. So once love is being sent into us and the block is removed, all those little pieces can come back to us. Whoa, that just made me like have the hiccups. That was kind of interesting. I just felt that with number 9. I just felt like a million yous come back and like jump on you. That was kind of cool. How do I save this thing? Let me save this. Save. I think it saves. Oh no, there we go. Save. So there's my chart. But what I was seeing initially, and I couldn't draw, I drew it on paper, was this big, humongous, like gingerbread man. And Christina will remember the gingerbread man. I don't know what the gingerbread man was. The gingerbread man was our etheric double. It was our etheric double body, our etheric double body. And there we go. Wait, how do I stop share? Oh well, anyways. So yeah, I'm gonna turn this off. Oh, there we go. Stop share. Okay, there I am. the etheric double, we would always see it as like a gingerbread man. Can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man. And it was like our etheric double was like out running around, like trying to get away from us. And that's what those little things that were falling out of us felt like, was like our etheric double. Like, so those can affect our health just as much as like us, because they think they're us. And they're like little delusional pieces of us that are like all, oh, I need to do this in order to make this person like me, or I need to do this, or I need to get this job, or I need to be rich, or pie in the sky. I'm going to get this. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that, or I'm going to fail. I'm going to this. It's like we create these realities in our heads, and we like spiral out all ungrounded on all these weird little missions. And those are like little gingerbread men, like kind of like running away from us. So we have to ask to kind of regather all those pieces of ourselves. Otherwise, we can't focus on anything. It's like everything's just everywhere. So I guess one thing we can do this week is just ask that if we have any like etheric double pieces of us that are like focused on something that like isn't like conducive to us having a happy, successful life, that we just ask that their mission be ended now. Like, okay, just like abort mission, all done. Come back, bring the life force energy back to me, and let's refocus this on something that's actually productive. Because a lot of us will focus on unproductive things just to sabotage ourselves, like myself. I'll focus on a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter, like scrubbing the baseboards with a toothbrush for 5 hours instead of getting something real done. And that's just procrastination, and just, I don't know what it is, but it's gross sometimes. It's like, oh, why can't I get anything done? But yeah, so I think that's it. I'm going to go back to